On the off chance that this is your first run-in with this show, you've joined at a very good time. My name is Oyinlola Sale, and you are now watching The Tax Talk. We talk about issues that center around taxation and tax administration with specific reference to Lagos State, Nigeria. With the help of seasoned experts, we dissect various areas that deal with the issue. Before we get on with the topic of discussion today, let's see the business news making the rounds. Stay with us.
This is business news. In a renewed effort to revise the national tax policy, the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee has begun public engagement on tax reforms in Lagos and Abuja. The committee's chairman, Mr. Taiwo Idele, said in a statement on X that the team will consult with stakeholders as part of a renewed effort to review the national tax policy, with the theme proposed changes to the national tax policy, tax laws and administration. While Lagos section was held on May 2, another public engagement is expected to take place in Abuja on May 6. The public engagements are aimed to gather input from stakeholders on proposed reforms to the country's tax system, which the government hopes will boost economic growth and improve revenue collection. The tax expert noted that the public consultation will serve as an avenue to keep the general public in the know as to certain tax frameworks the committee had developed and deliberate on the way forward. As Africa's largest economy, Nigeria's tax to GDP ratio comes as one of the lowest in the world at a staggering 10.8% for a country of more than 200 million people. Hence, the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee was inaugurated by President Bola Tinubu with the mandate of simplifying Nigeria's tax system and stimulating growth and development. The committee has a core responsibility of transforming Nigeria's revenue generation for sustainable development to achieve at least an 18% tax to GDP ratio by 2026. The President and Chairman of the Council of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, Mr. Samuel Agbeluyi, has charged new licensed tax practitioners to uphold ethical standards while discharging their duties. Mr. Agbeluyi made the call during the presentation of practicing license certificates in Lagos State. The CITN President issued a stern warning regarding misconduct, stating that the institute is equipped with mechanisms such as an investigating panel and disciplinary tribunal to address any reported cases of wrongdoing. While underscoring the importance of continuous professional development, he urged practitioners to stay abreast of global taxation trends and best practices. In a bid to further elevate the role of tax professionals, Mr. Agbeluyi advocated for practitioners to take on leadership positions in ministries, agencies, and departments to drive revenue generation and curb leakages effectively. Agbeluyi highlighted CITN's effort to enhance the certification value of its members, pointing out a recent directive from the FIRS that mandates tax computations and returns to be prepared exclusively by CITN licensed practitioners. And that's it on business news.
I will make a start shortlist business. They give them 150K to my friends. Let's do this. Taxes? I didn't even think about this. So I'll have to pay tax to build a house in Lagos. Maybe I should take a remote job. That way, I can avoid taxes. But wait, bloggers and content creators pay taxes too. So tax officials in Lagos monitor digital space for tax payment. Wait, why don't I start importing and exporting of phones and gadgets? Bro, how far now?
Femo, how far?
Bro, I won't join the business where they do.
Oh, smart. You just need money. I hope you have your tax clearance certificate.
Tax? Are you kidding me?
Without it, shishi, you not fit do. You have to visit the nearest tax office.
I can't believe it. There's no way out of this. I have to face my tax obligations if I want to start a life in Lagos.
Dear Lagosians, your taxes enable the government to invest in education, healthcare, security, housing, and many more. By continuing to pay your taxes, You are investing in a brighter future for all. This message is brought to you by the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, LIRS.
Welcome back. This is still the Tax Talk, and we're getting set to address today's topic. Ope George, Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Lagos State, is our guest for today. And we will be tackling the 2024 budget, its performance, and the internally generated revenue. However, we will be doing this slightly differently. We are actually heading to the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget to have a chat with the Commissioner in his office.
Mr. Ope George, thank you for having us in your office here today. We came fully prepared and the questions are ready. If you permit me, I'll fire away.
Thank you. Go ahead. Thank you.
To begin, could you give us insights into the main priorities underlined in the Lagos State 2024 budget?
Okay, thank you very much. So our 2024 budget is heavily based on our themes and themes plus agenda. So if I go through it, so in transportation and traffic management, there's a huge emphasis on ensuring that we continuously develop our infrastructure. The blue and red line, the blue line running from Okokomaiko to Marina has commissioned. The starting, the red line has just been commissioned. It's currently going through testing, which is going from Abado to Marina as well. So there's also development of the Lekki Airport, which is ongoing. There's the Omo Creek project. There's the Fort Mainland Bridge project. So there's a lot of huge emphasis on transportation, in healthcare. We're looking at the continuous development of the Massey Street Hospital, 250-bed hospital in Massey Street. We're looking at that as well. With agriculture, we're also looking at the food and logistics hub. We're trying to sort of ensure that that's complete. The middle market food hubs we're looking at as well. We've recently just launched the Onjerico initiative. In housing, we're looking at affordable housing, and also there are lots of various social intervention projects. So the 2024 budget is geared on ensuring that's on the Themes Plus agenda, making sure no one is left behind.
Excellent, sir. Moving forward, can you give an overview of the revenue sources included in the Lagos State 2024 budget?
Okay, so thank you. So revenue is very key to us, as you should imagine, within the state, and part of one of the work we do with LIRS to ensure that we can ensure that we capture our revenue sources properly. We have a projected revenue of 1.8 trillion, of which 1.16 is coming from IGR, which predominantly is being championed by LIRS. We also have other issues where we're trying to ensure that we ramp up our revenue base, so not just looking at IGR and other FAC allocations, but also looking inward and internally to ensure that we can optimize our assets a lot better. So looking at being able to use what we have to be able to generate a lot more. So we have a lot of assets that we feel are currently underutilized. So we're looking at pulling those together, securitizing them, and making sure we can tap into that and ensure that we can get a lot more value from a lot of the assets we have within the state.
We've seen significant infrastructural developments in Lagos State. How does the state government plan to allocate funds for development in the 2024 budget?
Okay, thank you. So infrastructure is key. It's very important. You'd find that within our budget, it's over 24% of the budget is hinged on infrastructure. We have a huge component of the budget that is on capital expenditure. So that shows that, aggressively we're pushing to ensure that we can sort of ramp up our infrastructure. We have a lot of projects that have started that we're looking to complete. So the 2024 budget is focused on a lot of completion and ensuring that we can do that. We have new projects, which I spoke about earlier on, which we're looking to sort of finance with alternative means of financing, looking at PPPs and other ways of making sure we can have these projects done with not necessarily putting them on our balance sheet. So infrastructure is key. But having said so, we're also looking to ensure that we balance things out. So there's a lot of importance and a lot of importance being put on social protection and social intervention programs as well.
Ensuring accountability is very crucial, and residents want to know how the state government is utilizing taxes and revenues. Now, what plans do they have in terms of measuring and ensuring transparency and accountability in using budgetary allocations?
Thank you. You see, so accountability is key now. I think in the age we live in now, there's a lot of accountability, and you can't sort of escape accountability. You can log on and get information anywhere and everywhere. So one of the things we do is once we start the budget process, we go and have consultative forums where we go across all the divisions of the state, the village divisions. We talk to the people, find out what they want to do, and we then incorporate them into the budget. So you'd find that year in, year out. So when we're starting the 2025 budget now, for instance, we go back And we're going to be asked questions like, what did you do with what we said in 2024, and would be measured. So we're held accountable to the people. Having said so, on our part, the other leg of the expenditure, for instance, I find that State Treasury Office and Ministry of Finance publish audited accounts, so everything is out there as to what the government has spent.
Revenue generation is a key aspect. Can you discuss initiatives aimed at enhancing revenue generation to support the 2024 budget?
Okay, so as I said earlier, IGR is important, and the LIS has done a great job in terms of helping us boost IGR. But we also know that we need to do a bit more support and help as well. So one of the things we're looking at is looking at our EGIS platform, which is the Geographical Information Systems platform, where we're looking to be able to capture a lot more of our land, so to speak. So all the areas in Lagos currently being mapped, and you find that you can then get information on all the properties in Lagos. That helps with ensuring that the right amount of land use is charged. Currently, we have a fraction of just the properties in Lagos registered for land use. So that will ramp up significantly once the EGIS program kicks in, which it has. You find that planning permits and all whatnot to get better, so you can stay within your office and check and plan. So there's a lot more that will be done with that. And then having said so, we also spoke about the fact that we have a lot of assets that are underutilized that we can tap into and we can develop. So there's that as well, the securitization of our assets and ensuring that we use a lot more of what we have to sort of benefit what we. And then in terms of the taxes and the IGR, I think using information and using technology to sort of better the way we sort of capture the right people into the right tax bracket would also help us as well.
You've been forthcoming so far, and I know that will continue throughout the conversation. Right now, though, a short break is needed, if you don't mind.
Oh, thank you.
I've been engaged in a thrilling and eye-opening discussion with the Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Lagos State, Mr. Ope George. We take a break now, and the show continues. Thank you for staying with us through that break. The Tax Talk is still the show. We're in the office of the Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Lagos State, Mr. Ope George. The 2024 budget, its performance and IGR is the issue currently on the burner. Let's continue this conversation, Mr. George. Speaking of adherence to laws, what strategies has the Lagos State government implemented to actually ensure tax compliance in the state and to boost internally generated revenue as well?
Okay, thank you. So with tax compliance, I think first of all, it's useful to say thank you to those who actually pay their taxes and are compliant. Once we have a good compliance level, we also have issues of people not complying. So one of the things we've looked at is to ensure that we can sort of have revenue courts that would help us in terms of being able to sort of get these cases of non-compliance through the legal system fairly quicker. So we find that once we can sort that out, we have revenue courts, we can quickly disperse with all these issues of non-compliance and fast-track cases we would have in the court. So I think that would help us greatly and ensure that we can sort of move closer to ensuring we have a higher level of compliance.
I'm sure that addressing challenges is actually a crucial part of the development process with the state government. How is the Lagos state government tackling budget deficits and also as well as addressing the challenges that has to do with revenue generation during this fiscal year?
Okay, so for us, sustainability is key. We always ensure we work within our ratios and ensure that we're all within our figures. As I said to you earlier, we have a revenue generation target of 1.8 trillion, of which 1.1 is coming from IGR. Having said so, we also know that we must always be within our sustainability levels. So in terms of our debt profile is always within levels. The state currently, Lagos is rated the same as the sovereign. So our credit rating is very key and very important to us. So we always ensure that, as I said, sustainability, we're always within the levels of our sustainable limits and ensure that we don't sort of go over that. So our debt profile is good, is manageable. And at any point in time, we always make sure we have checks. And we also ensure that, we don't sort of go past any of these limits.
All around the world, economic challenges exist, and it is a well-known fact that external factors have an impact on economic plans. Firstly, let's take a look at this. Do you believe that the current economic challenges have an effect on the 2024 budget and revenue projections? And how do you address those challenges?
I think you're right, and I think it's also important to point that it's been tough economically globally, not just within Nigeria and Lagos, but everywhere. But I think one of the keys is to ensure that you can sort of plan properly and you can adjust well to shocks. So I think for us in Lagos, we've always had, going back to time, we always had a good method of being able to plan and to adjust. So once there have been changes and moves in exchange rates and factors that are out of the control of the state government, we've also ensured that as a government, we have enough planning reserves to ensure that we can sort of withstand the shocks that are coming. So one of the things we looked at, as pointed out earlier, was in terms of our social intervention projects, and to ensure that, once things have been a bit tough, we can ensure that we can sort of help our citizens get through with all the social intervention projects we have with the Onjeko, the markets, the ensuring that people can sort of get through the everyday living, ensuring that we've reduced subsidies on transportation. So those sort of effects that are within our control, within the state, we have done, and also the federal government as well, in terms of all the projects and the programs they're putting through now. We're beginning to see a change, and I believe we're turning the tide now in ensuring that there's a lot more support coming to our people.
Lastly, stimulating economic growth is a collective goal. How does the Lagos state government achieve that goal through the implementation of the 2024 budget?
Lagos is a huge, Lagos is ranked as the sixth largest economy in Africa. I believe we have a market value of over $220 billion in terms of, so Lagos is huge, and what I find is that, you always say that if any problems in Lagos, if Lagos sneezes, Nigeria catches the cold, so to speak. But having said so, I think the key is for us to continue to sort of focus on what we're doing, ensure that we can attract the right sort of investment into Lagos. We have a lot of startups coming into Lagos. Lagos is the first for a lot of things. Lagos is the film festival, film capital of Nigeria, of Africa, the fintech capital, a lot of startups coming into here. So we have a thriving market. So I think it's for us to continuously grow and enhance that market and ensure that investments come into Lagos and investments are secure in Lagos, and Lagos continues to provide a thriving environment for businesses to sort of grow and nurture.
Mr. George, your expertise and time on the show today is very much appreciated. Thank you so much, sir. And we hope to have you on the show again in the nearest future.
Whenever, I'm happy to be on the show. Thank you.
That's awesome. Well, this is where we draw the curtain on this segment of the show. The Tax Talk continues with Tax Did It after the break.
The Tax Talk is what you're tuned to, and here's a quick reminder that you can follow us on all social media platforms. We constantly scroll the handles on the screen along with those of the LRS as well. Be sure to not just follow but engage too. That means comment, like, and repost as well. Tax Did It is next. Please stay with us.
I'm happy with the level of work that we've seen thus far. They should finish this entire road construction so that we can hand it over to the citizens and also can be available. A lot of the alternative problems that we have either on Kudrat Abiola Road, even going as far as going towards Alausa. This is an economic development that we're changing the face of traffic management, we're changing the face of commuting in Lagos, and we're changing the face of access to modern infrastructure, roads, and development. It's going to be a bit of furniture that you're going to see on this bridge. Eventually, it will look like what we see in other developed nations are the kind of infrastructure development that we're doing in Lagos.
It's time to check out what the LRS has been up to as we bring you LRS Diary.
I have before you all the key men and women that make things happen for Lagos State in terms of revenue generation, and we're very pleased to have the team from Joint Tax Board.
Lagos is a member of the Joint Tax Board, and by virtue of that, they benefit from all our initiatives, which are meant to strengthen our members and increase their capacity to optimize revenue generation through taxation.
We do a lot of collaboration with JTB, and aside from that, JTB itself brings a lot of value to tax administration through collaboration with many other federal government agencies. We're all aware of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal and Tax Reforms, headed by Mr. Taiwo Oyedele. They are presently carrying out all the various reforms that are expected in the tax space.
Slowly but surely, we are coming to the end of today's edition of the Tax Talk, but you know the show wouldn't be complete without us posing a trivia to the residents of Lagos. Stay tuned for Tax Your Brain.
Hello lovely people, it's your girl Helen Kalu. Welcome to Tax Your Brain on the Tax Talk, and stay with us.
Lagos Waste Management Authority, LOMA.
Lagos Waste Management Authority.
LOMA. It's a LOMA, Lagos State Waste Management Authority, if I'm not mistaken.
Lagos State Waste Management Authority.
We've come to the end of Tax Your Brain on the Tax Talk. My name is Helen. See you next time.
Welcome back from the streets of Lagos, where we put Lagosians on the spot. I've had a brilliant time piloting you through the entire show, and I hope you don't regret having given us your time. Next week, we do this all over again. My name is Oinlala Sale. I'll see you next week on this station again.